Everything the Republican Party has told us for decades about everything has been a complete and total lie. And I say that to you right now because it is very relevant right now. Not just, oh, Republicans lie. We know that, we get it, but let me explain in detail. For decades, we have heard the Republican Party tell us that the federal government sucks. It's horrible. They can't do a good job. Instead, we should take all of these duties that the federal government does and let the states handle it, because the states are better equipped for it. They're better equipped to handle education. We've heard that from this administration in the last month or so. They're better handled or better situated to handle natural disasters. We've heard that in the last month, right? Let's get rid of FEMA. Let's get rid of the Department of Education. Let's get rid of all of these government agencies that do things with the states and just let the states have at it, right? Well, this week, of course, SNAP benefits stopped. And even before the stoppage happened on Monday, states across the country, red states, blue states alike, were already sounding the alarm bells, going out publicly telling us, we can't handle this. We are not in a financial situation to be able to feed people. And we're literally, for most states, talking about just a couple $1 million. And these states that we think can fund their own education systems, their own disaster responses, their own regulators, no. They're telling us we can't even afford a couple $1 million to prevent people from starving to death. You know, that most basic human need of food, states across the country are telling the world, we can't do it. We don't have any money. There are some states, of course, that do have the ability to temporarily fund their statewide SNAP benefits. The state of Virginia recently, developed a budget surplus. And so they're like, okay, even though we finally have money for the first time ever, we're going to use that money to fund benefits. So we just got a surplus and now it's going to be wiped out. So good on Virginia for doing that. I will give them full credit. But this is what happens, folks. I can't tell you how many times, even just this year, let alone the other 21 years I've been doing this, we have heard Republicans say, leave it to the states. The states can do it better. The states can handle these things. They can't even handle giving people $230 a month to feed their families, which, yes, that is the average amount of benefits for a family of 4 here in the United States. $231 per month, actually. And the states are like, we don't have that. We can't afford a couple $1 million a month because we're already in the red. We're already financially on shaky ground. So if they can't handle spending a couple $1 million to feed people, you think these same states can handle when a massive hurricane comes through their state, does $5 billion worth of damages? No. Everybody in that area would be screwed. You think these states can handle funding public education to the tune of hundreds of millions, if not a couple $1 billion per year? No. But you may be saying to yourself, but Farron, the Republican plan was never to just let these states do it on their own. They were going to send them the money to do it. Okay, fair enough. Sometimes Republicans have said, yes, we'll send them the money. Sometimes they have said no. But if they were to do it that way, knowing now, obviously, that all these states have these budget shortages, you think they're going to take all that money from the federal government and actually spend it on what they're supposed to be spending it on? The answer to that is absolutely not. You would have to be a naive fool to think that these states would use that money sent to them by the federal government with no oversight and no accountability. They would use it to shore up their budget shortages. They would use it to pay for their private planes and security. They would use it to give tax breaks to statewide corporations. And I can say that because we've actually seen states do that in the past. When they've gotten money from the federal government, what did they do with it? They gave businesses more tax breaks. They didn't spend it on what they were supposed to. We saw it with COVID relief funds and such. They just gave businesses tax breaks. Everything the Republican Party has ever told you is a lie. And anyone who tells you otherwise is probably a Republican trying to get you to believe their lies another year. Thanks for watching, everyone. You know, we're inching closer and closer to 1 million subscribers, and we're aiming to hit that goal before the year closes. So if you aren't subscribed to the channel, please do so, and don't forget to like, comment, and share. Thanks for joining us as we head towards this huge milestone.